Well, the New York Times and CNN recently co-sponsored a Democratic debate. The New York Times and CNN? The New York Times hasn't endorsed a Republican for president since 1956. 1956, really? Carter over Reagan?
Governor Reagan, again, typically is against such a proposal.
Governor, there you go again.
And the New York Times was one of those papers leading the charge on this 2.5-year Russia collusion thing. And as far as CNN is concerned, Project Veritas recently released videotapes showing employees at CNN literally feeling that they are being told to pursue anti-Trump stories, and that the president and CEO of CNN, Jeff Zucker, has a personal animosity towards Trump. Check this out.
My name is Kerry Porch. I'm a satellite uplink technician. I'm a contractor at the CNN Washington, D.C. Bureau.
But Jeff Zucker, basically president of CNN, has a personal vendetta against Trump. It's not going to be positive for Trump. He hates him. He's going to be negative.
I decided to wear a hidden camera.
Media created this monster. Did you know he created this monster? And I'm reading him full play every single day. Yeah. Media created the Trump monster.
I decided to secretly record the 9 a.m. rundown call meetings, and it's basically run by Jeff Zucker, the president of CNN.
We're moving towards impeachment. We shouldn't pretend, this is going one way, and so all these moves are moves towards impeachment.
When I came to work at CNN, it was my dream job, and that dream actually just turned into a nightmare.
So I just want to say on the Lindsey Graham front, I know that there's a lot of people at CNN that are friendly with Lindsey Graham. Time to knock that off, and it's time to call him out. And I think what's going on in America now is really fundamentally the result of years of fake news, conspiracy, nonsense from Fox News.
He was calling Fox News fake news and a propaganda machine, and with what I saw, I'm like, that's pretty much what CNN was. It's just pumping out propaganda.
The fake conspiracy nonsense that Fox has spread for years is now deeply embedded in American society, and frankly, that is destructive to America, and I do not think we should be scared to say so.
There's a lot of people who are out here trying to just do what they think is the best of journalistic integrity, and then you get on the 9 a.m. call and big boss Jeff Zucker tells you what to do.
New York Times, CNN. So if you assumed the debate questions weren't going to be very tough, you were not wrong. So we put together 10 debate questions we would like the moderators to have asked, followed by very tough follow-up questions.
And I don't particularly think there's a person on this earth that can kick my ass.
Well, all righty then. The first two go to Senator Bernie Sanders. Senator Sanders, about the Trump tax cuts. Democrats like David Cicilline of Rhode Island claim that 83% of the benefits would go to the top 1% richest people in the country and the most powerful corporations. But the Washington Post fact checker said the Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center found that initially more than 80% of the taxpayers would get a tax cut, with less than 5% getting a tax increase. Why then do you keep restating what the Washington Post said is not true?
And I'll tell you why.
Now, who can argue with that?
Works for me. Question number 2. Senator Bernie Sanders, for years, you've said we are now spending twice as much per capita on health care as do the other people of other countries. And for years, PolitiFact has said that's false. Why do you keep saying it?
Enough of the emails. Let's talk about the real issues facing America.
Now, who can argue with that?
Number 3, Senator Harris. Many of you support reparations, but former President Obama said Children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in prison. Isn't family breakdown a far bigger problem than a need for reparations? Well argued. Number 4, Senator Biden. In 1900, government at all 3 levels, state, local, and federal, took less than 10% of Americans' income. Today, government takes close to 31%. How much more income should government take from the American people?
Look, buy a shotgun. Buy a shotgun.
Copy that. The next 2 go to Beto O'Rourke. Mr. O'Rourke, you say you want to take away AR-15s.
For anyone who does not and is caught in possession or seen in possession of one of these weapons of war, one of these instruments of terror, that weapon will be taken from them and they will be fined. And if they should persist in continuing to use and to buy these weapons, then there will be other consequences in the criminal code.
So here's question number 5 for you, sir. In 2017, nearly 40,000 Americans were murdered or committed suicide by firearms. So you've demanded that Congress pass common sense gun control laws to save lives. But how many Americans are alive each year because they use firearms in self-defense?
What the
Makes sense. Number 6, Mr. O'Rourke. You proposed a buyback of AR-15s and other weapons of war. But in 2018, according to the FBI, there were 297 people killed by rifles, all rifles, not just AR-15s. But 443 people were killed by hammers, clubs, and other blunt objects. And 672 were killed by fists, feet, and other personal weapons. Gun rights advocates argue that these numbers show you have lost perspective. Please comment.
What the Hold on a second.
Word. Number 7, Mayor Pete Buttigieg. You criticized President Trump's decision to withdraw troops from Syria, but when President Obama withdrew troops from Iraq, Democrats supported the policy, even though it ran counter to the advice Obama got from his national security team. The withdrawal allowed ISIS to grow and metastasize. Obama sent back about 4,000 troops, and the troop level remains about 5,000. Is it not hypocritical to criticize Trump for doing the same thing that Democrats applauded Obama for doing?
What do you think?
I think what our insightful young friend is saying is that we welcome the inevitable seasons of nature, but we're upset by the seasons of our economy.
Yes.
Of course, we're upset by the seasons of our economy when we shouldn't be upset because in 12 years, we're all dead anyway, right? Number 8, Senator Sanders. Does President Trump deserve any credit for an economy that's producing rising incomes and record low unemployment for blacks and Hispanics?
When I wrote the damn bill.
Indeed you did, Senator. Can't fault your logic there. Number 9 goes to Beto O'Rourke. Mr. O'Rourke, you say you've benefited from white privilege and that America was built on endemic and foundational racism. On the stage with you are New Jersey Senator Cory Booker of African descent, Andrew Yang of Chinese descent, Representative Tulsi Gabbard, who is Samoan American, and California Senator Kamala Harris, whose background is Jamaican and India. Why didn't endemic and foundational racism prevent these candidates of color from being on the same stage with you on the same night, competing for the same job?
Well, Jesus Christ.
Praise the Lord. Number 10, Senator Warren, about Charlottesville, where a woman was killed by a white nationalist, you claim President Trump said there were good white nationalists and good neo-Nazis on both sides. In fact, At the very same press conference, Trump said, and I'm not talking about the white nationalists and the neo-Nazis because they should be condemned totally. Why do you keep misquoting the president?
So it's what I believe. You know, that's, like I said, it's what I learned from my family.
Laws him gain!
Well, that's it for us. 10 debate questions skillfully handled by our Democratic candidates. I'm Larry Elder, and this has been the Larry Elder Show for Epoch Times. I will see you next time.